Nós temos como moderador desse segundo painel o senhor Cristovam Ricardo Buarque Cavalcante. O título do painel é The Impact of ICT in Education and Learning. Senhor Cristovam Ricardo Cavalcante Buarque, de Recife, de 1944, é um engenheiro mecânico, economista, educador, professor universitário, político e escritor brasileiro. Foi reitor da Universidade de Brasília em 1985 a 1989. Foi governador do Distrito Federal de 1995 a 1998. Foi eleito senador pelo Distrito Federal em 2002. Foi ministro da Educação entre 2003 e 2004. Eleito nas eleições de 2010 para o Senado do Distrito Federal, com mandato até 2018. Cristovam publicou 33 livros sobre economia, história, sociologia e, sobretudo, educação, além de livros de ficção, inclusive 3 infantis. Vale a pena citar O que é a Apartação, O Apartheid Social no Brasil, 1993, A Cortina de Ouro, Os Sustos do Final do Século e Um Sonho para o Seguinte, 1994. Admirável Mundo Atual, Dicionário Pessoal dos Horrores e Esperanças do Mundo Globalizado, lançado em 2001. E o último, O Erro do Sucesso, A Civilização Desorientada e a Busca de um Novo Humanismo, em 2014. Se considera um político educacionista, a educação como vetor do progresso. Senhor Cristovam Buarque, por favor, uma salva de palmas. Para compor o painel, o próximo palestrante é o Sr. Boris Komrako. He is a mathematician who works on Lie groups, Lie algebra, and applications. Professor Komrako received his PhD in 1973 at the University of Vilnius in Lithuania. In 1980, he received Lenin Council Prize in the field of science and technology. In 1997, Komrako received the Lukashev's Medal for an outstanding contribution to geometry. Professor Komrako is one of the founders of the Institute of Applied Mathematics and Information Technologies, IAMIT. Since 2012, he is a vice chairman of WITSA and the WCIT chairman of the Committee on Education, Training, and Human Resources. He is a dedicated enthusiast of computer and IT education who devoted his efforts, funds, and all other resources available to him to turn around the whole system of software development training and to close the deficit gap in human resource in IT. Please, Mrs. Boris. Mary Lou Papazian is the CEO of the Simonian Educational Foundation and the Managing Director of the TOMO Center for Creative Technologies in Yerevan, Armenia. TOMO is a unique not-for-profit facility where thousands of teenagers learn animation, game development, web development, and digital media free of charge. In addition to her responsibilities in developing and managing the educational program of the center, she led the design and construction management of the center's interior architecture and outdoor plaza. Prior to TOMO, Mary Lou co-founded the Education for Development Foundation in 2001, where she led the 3 Pomegranates project, linking Armenian students to their global peers through web-based education activities. Previously, Mary Lou was a construction manager for a number of high-rise residential and commercial buildings in New York City, including the Marriott Financial Center Hotel. Mary Lou holds a master's degree in computing education from Teachers College, Columbia University, New York, a master's degree in construction management from Stevens Institute of Technology, New Jersey, and a Bachelor of Science in Architectural Engineering from the Université de Saint José in Beirut, Lebanon. She is a member of Information Technology Council of the Prime Minister of the Republic of Armenia. Please, Ms. Mary Lou. And now, Jennifer Mary Brooks, Microsoft Philanthropies Director, Latin America. Her personal mission and her career are focused on creating a social impact. In her role, she is responsible for driving the strategic planning and execution of Microsoft philanthropic programs. Focus her work in youth opportunities for education, employment, and entrepreneurship through computer science and technology for good initiatives, through software and cloud service donation to enable nonprofits fulfill their missions. Gender diversity and young humor's opportunities are as well an important drive of her work. Before working for Microsoft, she worked for UNICEF, the United Nations Children's Fund, at Buenos Aires, field office for South Cone. Her roles spanned from programs assistant to communications and information officer, providing communication strategies and driving programs focused on the compliance of children's rights, with emphasis in education, health, as well as human rights and gender matters. She holds a postgraduate in public policies and poverty reduction from Andrews University and the World Bank, and a BA in Social Studies and Education. Thank you, Ms. Jennifer. You're right there.
Boa tarde a cada uma e a cada um. Desculpem o atraso no início da sessão, mas nós vamos ter uma sessão que eu estou extremamente curioso. Meu papel é apenas coordenar, mas eu gostaria de dizer que, se vocês olham na história, nós tivemos revoluções na indústria, no transporte. Obviamente, indústria, revolução na medicina, mas até agora não tínhamos tido revolução na educação. Desde os primórdios da história, a educação se faz mais ou menos da mesma maneira. Se faz mais ou menos da mesma maneira. Houve, depois de milhares de anos, a invenção do quadro negro, do microfone, mas não foi a revolução. Agora, de repente, estamos atravessando duas revoluções. A revolução dentro da sala de aula, com o uso dos novos instrumentos da informática, e a revolução de colocar a sala de aula em rede global no mundo inteiro. Duas revoluções para as quais a maior parte de nós, professores, não estamos preparados para usarmos todas as modernas técnicas e para sermos parte de um processo global, interativo, mundial. Fica faltando uma terceira revolução, que é a revolução de colocar todas as crianças na escola. 1 bilhão de crianças no mundo hoje estão sem aulas. Mas essa é uma revolução política que vamos ter que fazer um dia. Para hoje, nós vamos discutir as duas revoluções da técnica de ensinarmos, não mais o professor apenas falando, mas usando todos os equipamentos modernos, e também como cada sala de aula faz parte de uma imensa rede, e todas interligadas, com as pessoas podendo assistir a aula em qualquer lugar do mundo. Para falar sobre essas duas revoluções, nós temos aqui a professora Jennifer Mary Brooks, a professora Marie-Lou Papazian e o professor Boris Komrako. Eu vou passar a palavra primeiro à professora Jennifer Mary Brooks, depois para a professora Marie-Lou Papazian e depois para o professor Boris Komrako. Eu fui informado que, como coordenador, devo ser muito rígido no tempo para podermos ter meia hora de fala dos três, 10 minutos, portanto, cada um, e depois meia hora de debate, seja a partir de perguntas que eu faça, seja a partir de perguntas que vocês façam. Então eu passo a palavra à professora Jennifer.
Obrigada. Apologies, eu não falo português, so vou falar em inglês. At Microsoft, since the beginning of the company 40 years ago, we had a very important mission to include all of our social responsibility and philanthropies work throughout everything that we do. Our mission specifically is to empower people and organizations around the planet to achieve more. And this, of course, includes the most underserved communities in which we work, we live, and we have offices. Through this mission is that all of our philanthropies work is being guided. Not only we have an area in education, but also we have an area around social responsibility. Our focus of our philanthropies program is done specifically through community investments. We also have a program called Technology for Good around our software donation and our access to cloud services for teachers, for schools, but we do very strong community investments related to nonprofits that are working with youth to enable youth with opportunities. And that program that we have is called InfoPark. Specifically from a philanthropist point of view, many years ago, Microsoft decided that all of our social responsibility investments should be geared specifically to an audience that at this point was a victim of the major violence, but also a victim of the major unemployment situation around the world. Specifically, and all of you are knowledgeable of our population, but statistically you know that youth in Latin America account for almost 40% of our population, but unfortunately less than 50% of the young people average that start high school do not finish high school. And that is really a problem that we are addressing through our programs and our social investments, through our education programs, and also through the programs that we do within the nonprofits to attend the other 50% of young people who fall from the educational system. We do believe that when we launched InfoPark and we decided to focus all of our work in education, opportunities for employment and entrepreneurship, we had a major responsibility, which is not only to invest in the teachers, in the access to technology, but also to invest in the trainings and the skills that have to be developed for young people to be ready for the market. And these skills not only have to do with technology skills, this has to do with soft skills as well, because these soft skills are also a main challenge for these young people to be able to find a job or start a micro-entrepreneurship opportunity. And one thing that we briefly discussed on Monday in the main session upstairs was the opportunity we have through computer science. And through computer science, we launched this program that you heard on Monday called Eu Posso Programar, or Eu Vou Programar, I Can Code, because we believe that when this big wave of children dropping from the education system that happens when they're around 13, 14 years old, computer science can help, because not only it develops critical thinking skills, problem-solving skills, logical skills, it also helps them understand why all this abstract information that they're learning in school ties to a concrete product or reality. So through computer science and through our campaigns to include computer science in education as a formal subject for formal education, but also in non-formal education through nonprofits, we firmly believe that this is a path that will enable young people to be part of this fourth digital revolution, and also accompany your proposal of having a revolution of young people staying in school and completing their studies. I think I've covered my time. Yes, I have 2 more minutes. Okay, good. So, we work very closely with the Secretaries of Youth at the Ibero-American Youth Organization, in which we recommended specifically that computer science be included in the education system. And in this sense, we are working closely with Secretaries of Youth, specifically here in Brazil and all other countries in Latin America, to ensure that the education system, the ministries of education, are also participating in these conversations with experts in computer science. We are very happy to know that in the next President's Summit now in Cartagena in Colombia, the presidents are going to sign a commitment to support computer science as part of the educational curriculum. So our other main focus, which derives directly from our computer science focus, is what happens next. Young people, before they finish high school, should have the opportunity to ensure that they know how to become entrepreneurs. Normally, we have a linear education in which you study to be an employee. And we propose that we can think of entrepreneurship as a plan A for young children and young people that finish school. Why? We know that there are not going to be enough jobs for the amount of young people in this demographic bonus that we're going through to enter the job market. So we hope entrepreneurship does not become plan Z. I couldn't study, I couldn't find a job, so then I sell something. And that's how entrepreneurship happens now, sometimes by accident in the most undeserved communities. But we hope that entrepreneurship becomes part of our culture, part of our education, and that young people have the opportunity to say, eu posso empreender, after they say, eu posso programar. And that learning computer science not only inspires them, some of them to follow some technological STEM careers, but also that we spark a light and that they decide to become entrepreneurs as well. And that's the focus of our work, basically from Microsoft Philanthropies and from our Microsoft education teams, and how to enable teachers, young people, nonprofits, working with governments and working with partners and international organizations to enable them to adopt computer science and to provide more opportunities for young people around the world through education, employment, and entrepreneurship. Thank you.
Muito obrigada e muito obrigado, professor Yerevan. E eu passo a palavra agora a Marilu Papazian.
Thank you. I'm going to try to do it very fast because I want to show you a couple of videos, short videos that are really interesting. The TOMO Center is a different learning environment in Armenia, in Yerevan, Armenia, where the young people take charge of their own learning development. This is the space. It's a very big space, around 3,000 square meters. And the students can sit wherever they want. It is open to teenagers from 12 to 18-year-old, and it's free of charge. Until now, since we have opened 2011, summer of 2011, we have had more than 14,000 students participating, and we have now around 10,000 students in Armenia. We have 4 centers, the biggest in Yerevan, and then there is one in Yumri, one in Dilijan, and one in Stepanakert. This is the space, this is the entrance. They get a membership card, and they have sessions. So what do schools provide in Armenia and probably in everywhere else also? The fundamental knowledge required around certain subjects like math, physics, languages, history, etc. But what does TOMO do? The TOMO Center complements this. It gives the opportunity for these young people to be in charge of their learning, to have a very interesting and competitive portfolio, and to dive into the digital era. We have 4 focus areas: animation, digital media, film, and game development. And we have a set of skills, a lot of them, because we believe that these skills complement all the focus areas that we have, including computer science, including online literacy, including robotics, including drawing, music, etc. These are our phases. We go from online activities that we have prepared, I'll show you examples, to workshops, and then projects, and also a final project. We do a lot of workshops during the year. Some of them are called learning labs. They are run by professionals from all around the world. Those are not teachers, they are professionals in their subjects. They come and they devote their time for 2-3 weeks, and they run specific workshops. And we have our normal workshops that go from beginner into intermediate into advanced levels. Those are run by our permanent staff. We have designed a very interesting interface where the students prepare or build their own learning plan. It goes like this. They come, the first 2 months, they do online exercises. They get used to the subject. They do a little bit of everything. And after that, they pick 2 of their main focus areas and 2 of the skills. And once they choose what they want to do, there is an intelligent path that is drawn for them, that is following them all along, day by day, and suggesting what to do, when to do it, if they're fast, if they're slow, adjusting, if they drop a class, suggesting other classes. And during all this time, they also build their living portfolio. We do not give grades, we do not give a diploma. We with them create a living portfolio for each and every student, in which there is the entire data of the students from day 1 to which workshop they participated, what classes they did, what activities they did, what volunteer work they did, what they have created, and it shows everything they have done. We invite a lot of professionals, like from Pixar, from Uber, from Disney, from Ubisoft, from Apple, from Simpsons. All these people came and gave workshops. Here are some examples. This is the Simpsons workshop. This is a workshop about Armenian typography, where they have created Armenian letters and used professional software. And here are some results. This is a workshop. This is actually a project, a long project. It's an anti-corruption game for 2 years that a group of students are participating in collaboration with the EU. Here is a virtual reality movie that the students prepared using Google Cardboard. This is a graffiti workshop. Those are some examples of their works. This is a photography workshop in Gyumri with a workshop leader from Germany, Katharina Roters. And here are some examples of their work that went to the Biennale this year, Architecture Biennale in the Armenian Pavilion. Here is Scout Papazian. She went to Stepanakert, Nagorno-Karabakh. She is a famous photographer. Her famous photo of the President Obama was the most tweeted ever. And she gave volunteer workshop in Stepanakert. And here are some examples of the results of the students' work. And this is a packaging design workshop in Dilijan. They do graphic design and packaging, and they built the samples. And we also organize public events, like we have a 3D cinema, lectures, typography lectures, we have a sport facility, we do yoga, and we also do festivals around the center. And now I want to jump into the videos. I have 4 very short videos, and now we're done. The first one is about robotics. It was a very, very interesting workshop because it was not only about computer programming and robotics, but solving the problem.
Եվ հիմնական ընթիրը կարող է լինում, որ չնայած այդ մոտորները նույնն են, սակայն տարբեր սխալներ են անում ժամանակի ընթացքում։
Այդ խնդիրներից մեկն էր, թե ոնց մենք կարող ենք տարբեր ուղիներ իրար կապել։
Այսպիսով մենք որոշեցինք, որ երբ մեր գլխավոր ուղերի մոտ միացած մոտորը 90 աստիճան է կատարում, մի ազդանշան ուղարկել մնացածին, եւ երբ այդ ազդանշանը նրանք ստանան, փորձեն հասնել գլխավոր մոտորին։
Եվ սկզբից մենք օգտագործեցինք Bluetooth, այն ուղիի իր կողմերը։ Առաջինը մի ուղի կարող է կապվել ուրիշ ընդհանրապես 3 ուրիշ ուղիների հետ։ Եթե մենք ուզում ենք ստեղծել մեծ ուղիների ցանց, կլինի շատ դանդաղ։ Եվ երկրորդ Bluetooth-ը չի կարող այնպես արագ տարածել ինֆորմացիան ուրիշ ուղիների։ Դրա համար մենք օգտագործեցինք լույսը եւ ինչպես է աշխատում։ Հիմնական ուղիները գլխավոր ուղիները ունի մեկ շարժիչ, որը անդրադառնում է հաստատուն լրացությամբ, եւ այն հետ է ուղարկում այն տվյալը, թե ինչքան է եկը պատտվել, եւ գլխավոր ուղիները տեսնելով այդ տվյալը, վարում է լույսը ամեն անգամ, երբ շարժիչը պատտվում է 90 աստիճան։ Մյուս ուղիները ունեն հատուկ սենսորներ, որոնք հասկանում են երբ այդ լույսը վարվել, եւ ասում են շարժիչի, որ անել նույնը որ պատտվել 90 աստիճան օգտագործելով PID կոչված ծրագիրը եւ PID-ն դա այնպիսի ծրագիր է, որը կարողանում է 2 կամ ավելի շարժիչներ սինխրոնացնել իրար հետ։
Մենք ապագայում պլանավորում ենք այնպես անել, որ այս պլատֆորմը համագործակցի մարդու հետ, օրինակ կախված մարդու շապիկի գույնից, ձեռքերի դիրքից կամ մարդու շարժումներից, այն կարող է փոփոխել իր ձևը եւ ստանալ օրինակ ալիքներ եւ այլն։ Մենք նաեւ ուզում ենք ապագայում այն օգտագործել քաղաքներում, օրինակ Yerevan քաղաքում, որպեսզի քաղաքը ավելի հետաքրքիր շարժական սարքեն եւ օրինակ կարող ենք օգտագործել նրանց խաղահրապարակներում եւ մարդը քայլի հատակով, հատակը հետևից ալիք լինի եւ ասեմ, որ մենք ոգեշնչվել ենք Թումոյի այգուց եւ ստեղծում ենք այս պլատֆորմը, քանի որ այն Թումոյի այգու երանգյունների փոքրացված տեսք ունի եւ ստանում է այգու տեսքը, երբ որ շարժվում է.
So this was the example of how not only they participated in a robotics workshop, but they also had to solve a very important problem, how to synchronize all these motors together and what technology to use. The next one is about how we teach programming at TOMO. Instead of doing the, hello coding, hello good morning or something like that, we created a simulation of our fountain lights. So we have a big fountain outside that we call the Soviet fountain. We renovated the fountain with lights, and we created a simulation for our students that are taking the 101 computer science programming class. And the task was to create a light show for the fountain lights. And the workshop was run by 3 students from Harvard and Berkeley in computer science. They came during the winter break and they run this workshop. About creating a light show, a lot of girls were interested, so it was an excuse to involve them in this workshop and tell them that programming is not difficult. At the end of every workshop, we invite the parents to come and see the results. It was winter time. We went up on the 6th floor and we watched the fountain and the lights of every student. To abuse the time. The last one, the photography workshop. The photography workshop was run in Stepanakert, Nagorno-Karabakh. If you're aware or if you know where it is, it's a little independent country close to Armenia, where we have a TOMO center.
First workshop in Stepanakert ever. so bigger responsibility as well. And they came up with good photos. I'm very happy because in 2 weeks, but then in 1 week of hard work, they, with their photos, can show the real life in Stepanka and in the region. It's not easy to have such a view of their life. They went everywhere. They went to hospital, to gym, to abandoned place. They went to churches. They met war hero. We can really see how their life here. I think that what they did is something very important that we should give a look to understand how they see the world around them. That's how we started. I didn't want to prepare stories or have ideas about stories. I let the kids do everything. So we discussed and they did very good. The results are their photos are very good. I can compare some of their work to professional photographers' work.
Eu agradeço a professora Marilu e passo a palavra ao professor Komrako.
This function? Okay. I want to tell you how to produce computer engineers, my 20 years experience in this. Maybe it's important to know that I came to this via through mathematics. And of course, many myths about mathematics, engineering, and then others for these 20 years changed completely. In 1990, I started to produce PhD in mathematics when they are 21, 23 years old. And with a big team, we go for the money of Norway and stay there 3 years, and it was very nice. It was a paradise. But after it became understandable that mathematics is evening hobby. It's not a profession anymore for the young. 150 of my students from mathematics say me thanks too much for the free education and go to US to be programmers. Because salary of programmer in US 2 times more than professor in Europe. I was also sure that mathematician is a much higher. Computer engineer is like, for example, I know that imagine that you are dance in Bolshoi theater. Of course you can dance in restaurant. No. It's 2 absolutely different mentality, different brain. And first, who was the first to understand this? It's a little bit strange, but it was writer, Edgar Allan Poe. Maybe you know his story, Crime on Moore Street. And they explain there that exists 2 types of brain. One is a kind of calculator, because programmers not exist, and chess player. And another one is mathematician or detective from police. Hypothesis, check, look at the examples, yes, counterexamples, and so and so. And these people, they combine existing algorithm and this, this talk about strategy in chess and so on and so on. Machine proved that who play quicker win. And we start to do something in programming. Because we already have a lot of winners in World Mathematical Olympiad, gold medals. I can to see that they are not better than the people who devote themselves programming was evidently in 2-3 years. Then it's no relation between that and 10 years. 10 years for me, I'm a mathematician. I want to keep some mathematics for education in programming. Yes. Now after 10 years, I can tell you on a question: which mathematics need programmers? They don't need mathematics. Forget about it. It's another story. 50 IT, it's not the same as engineering, physics, mathematics, what else? Medicine. In medicine, you cannot be a doctor if you know only eyes disease. You cannot be a physicist if you pass exam in thermodynamics. And so. You need at least 2 years to understand the situation at home. Not in IT. If you start with Java, and immediately after finish the course, you don't go for the job in this, then in half year you forgot everything, and in 1 year Java changed completely. And if you try to add .NET or database or something, you obtain it's not something clear. And it's not. No, it's many examples. I don't want to talk about the Bill Gates, 2 years at the university, or Dell was kicked out after first course, or now the many students from top universities in US come together and organize the anti-college. US recognized 50 professions in IT. Only 4 of them need bachelor. All others need 3-6 months course. In this, I'm responsible for Europe. And about Europe, I know more or less everything. IT industry in Europe is 5% from the United States. 5%. And Israel is half of Europe. In IT world, situation completely different from the how many metal you have, or how many people you have, or how many brains in complete direction you have. Okay, then in Europe, every year gap between what they need and what they have, 200,000 more. A year ago it was 700,000. They don't have programmers. This year 9. Next year will be 1,100,000. It's a one story. University in Europe can produce only 100. 50 go to US because 2-3 times salary and they go. Now not only production clouds, now people cloud. They can immediately go to any place where will be a better condition from their opinion. And from one side, there's a big deficit in engineers, yes? And this is a very good profession. From my point, it's the best profession because it can be pre-profession. These skills will be very useful for you if you change during your life profession to any other. You want to be a musician, it's important to know computer. You want to be I don't know, the owner of restaurant, also important. There are many things to calculate. And look, if you want to be violin player or tennis player, then if you're older than 5, it's too late. In programming, why in Greece, Italy, Portugal, and Spain, unemployment for youth? 50%. It's from 15 to 24 years old. Why? So many empty places for computer engineers, and they don't want. You know, I'm a mathematician in the past, and I make some investigation. Check Olympiads and so and so and so. Interest of the children to exact science, especially to programming, to informatics, grow up from 10 to 12 and then down, almost up to 0. And if you propose them to go to the university, informatics, it's too late. They already don't want to do nothing and to be economists and lawyers. By the way, for example, in Russia, the half of unemployed people have a high education and in economy and law. What does it mean? It means that if you propose them to go to informatics, okay, then do it before 12. Otherwise, it's too late. It's the first part you already know from the previous talk, and more important and positive that we know how to fill this gap. You need to start as early as possible, but not later than 12. And then you can do it parallel with the school. It's very interesting because when I first talked about this in Montreal, on WCIT 2012, with the one guy, I forgot his name, but on his business card was Chief Strategist, Intel. And he said, it's a fantastic, you really can prepare people for the job when they are 16. You say, yes, 15, 16, 14, it's possible. You say, okay, it's revolution. But I told him the university and, you know, the children and their parents, they want to have this paper, so they forget about it. If they have a job, 16, it's okay. He maybe have experience in US or in some other places. And the places in Europe and in Asia Pacific, their children, parents, they want to have a baby also. For them, baby is important. Sometimes it's important for them not to go to the army, sometimes for other things, but it's nothing with, look, at the university there are nobody who can teach programming. If you know, for programming, it's those who can do, they do. Those who cannot do, they teach how to do. Those who can do nothing, they teach how to teach. And this guy told me that in my program, my enemy is the Ministry of Education and universities. And your friend is labor minister. Those who want to create the new working place. In Europe, because of this youth unemployment, they spent 3.5 billion give to the countries to create new working places. Imagine that, let's take the usual school. Don't discuss with the Ministry of Education the program and so and so and so. There are no people who can do this. If they can do something, they do it in a different. But you can add 1 hour per week. You can do it at school. You can do it in the form of the parents. You can do it in a room somewhere. It's not important. where you start this education. In almost all countries, this kind of education, you don't need to have accreditation, license, or something like this. It's an additional something, like massage, okay? Then 1 hour per week, then 2 hours per week, 4 hours per week. And then you can go to the job. It's of course dependent on the country, because in some countries, 14 years with the permission of parents, 15 years, and so on and so on and so on. In some countries, very strange, it's only 18. Then we have a gap for years, they're doing nothing. Okay. And then you can prolong your education to have part-time job. I made experiment immediately after Montreal. It's a children in Minsk. It's a capital of Belarus. Maybe you don't know Belarus, but in IT world, people know Viper, World of Tanks, and many, many others. These are 12 years old children. 3.5 years passed. This August. They already start to work from the 1st of September. Okay, this is recognized by UNESCO. Look, it's a 4 types of activity. Exist Olympiads, exist training centers, exist universities, exist IT firms, and their association. What the way for the job? Today, it's more or less like this. Training center it's not obligatory for them to give you a job after the courses. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. From the university, of course, but it's, from my point, too late. And the Olympiads is something separate. People go to the Olympiad, you understand that it's better, that it's not so good, and that's it. But it must be like this. What's happening? Olympiads, you understand who is good enough, train them, and job 3 years before you, 2-3 years before university. You can arrange it. For whom it's interesting? It is for the countries, for the WITSA members, for the province, state, region, towns. It's not this scalable. For example, I had 2 talks with the advisor of President of Iran and discussed the program for them. In 7 years, it's 7.4 billion. Maybe it's not so interesting for Latin America, it's too far. But we want to organize the cruise, B2B and IT education, September, 100 days. 100 days. IMIT organization which I represent, I'm director of this organization. It's an organization 15 years old. It's a non-profit organization in Belgium. I am IT or I am IT. What is better for you? It's the Institute of Applied Mathematics and Information Technologies. And this is UIT, it's a university industry network in information technologies. And 24 countries on board. Leave Brazil one, please come. And 27 countries waiting on show. And we, what means B2B collaboration? Every country has a price for the 1 hour of programming. Then the country B and C can be subcontractors for A. And C can be subcontractors for everybody. Then some companies from Europe, they will try to find partners in Asia Pacific to be subcontractors. And with some countries like Japan, Taiwan, Singapore, Hong Kong, maybe even Australia, it's possible to find their clients. Okay, I'm finished.
Muito obrigado, professor. Nós temos duas alternativas. Passar a palavra para vocês ou eu fazer duas perguntas. O que é que vocês preferem? Há pessoas querendo falar? Eu faço. Eu quero fazer uma pergunta primeiro à professora Aguilu. A senhora falou... Isso ok? A senhora falou sobre o plano Learning Plan dos estudantes. Eu gostaria de saber duas coisas. Como é que esse Learning Plan é feito? Se é o aluno só ou se tem uma assessoria pedagógica? E segundo, se nesse plano eles têm preferência mais por disciplinas exatas ou disciplinas humanas?
We have a lot of choices. We give all the choices to the students, and the students choose whatever they want, and we suggest which one is better to combine. Let's say they do animation and they take one course in music composition, or they do game design and they take one course in, or several courses in computer programming. They have advisors, there are coaches on the floor, that each coach has a set of students and they're in charge of those students and to follow their progress. If any student has a question, the coach is always following, and if they are falling behind, the coach always goes and checks and finds out what the problem is, helps, and then makes suggestions. Those coaches are, let's say, expert students. They're a little bit older than them, and they are there to help them. And to answer the second question about humanities or exact sciences, we do everything. But we also encourage students, for example, students that are into music, we try to encourage them to take computer programming classes involving music, so they understand how they can enhance their own music with technology. Everything we do, somehow we include technology in it. Even music, drawing, we include technology. There is one video that I skipped because we didn't have time. It was about character design and toys. They do the character design, they even prepare them themselves, but they also draw them on the computer using special software.
But on average, they prefer more humans.
Actually, they are so happy when they're using technology to do something in humanities. Even photography, when they are able to use Photoshop and enhance their pictures, convert it to videos, all that. Technology is so beautiful when you use it for your needs. When you understand how you can manipulate and use it and get to the goal you want.
Eu gostaria de fazer uma pergunta agora ao professor Komrako. Eu achei muito interessante o que o senhor colocou, especialmente sobre o ensino da computação, mas eu queria perguntar um pouco de fora disso. Como podemos fazer com que a escola prepare um aluno que durante sua vida vai mudar de profissão 2, 3 ou mais vezes? Em um momento da sua fala, o senhor tocou nesse problema das crianças que estudam hoje vão mudar de profissão. A minha pergunta é como ajustar o processo educacional, e aí não cabe dentro da escola, para que os jovens e adultos mudem de profissão, estejam preparados para novas profissões.
school can give the place. School can give a free place. Teachers, no. Because you cannot, if for example, if it's a big gap between the existing programs and how much you need programs, yes? Then the teacher and professors in informatics programming almost not exist. Because the price for the school teacher and professors in informatics at least 3 times less than price in the industry. And if, for example, even Bill Gates decided to go to the university, even free from salary, yes, then he will be a laborant, even not assistant, because he has only 2 courses of higher education. And for university, you need to be PhD. You need to, that's why university and IT industry, they are it's better to do everything outside the university and use this sometimes place in the university, some joint program, something like this. And at the university exists a lot of subjects which the computer engineers don't need. And if they start, for example, something real, some technology, they need immediately devote to this to 20 hours per week. And how they can study after a student obtaining job, university, he don't need university. University only try to spend his time without any positive for him.
Thank you. Professor Yerevan, eu tenho uma pergunta que tem muito a ver com a preocupação que eu tenho tido, que é saber como aproveitar a capacidade das tecnologias para trazer informação sobre o mundo ao redor, atraindo os jovens para a formação das coisas mais substanciais do cânone, como diz em inglês, do mundo, da ciência, da filosofia. Porque a tendência nossa com esse tipo de leituras termina sendo superficial, termina sendo sobre o momento presente. Como é que podemos, dando informações aos jovens, atraí-los para estudar filosofia grega, ler os grandes livros de literatura? Como levar da informação para a formação? Esse é um desafio que nós temos tido. A senhora tem alguma sugestão sobre isso?
I firmly believe that technology can be a tool to democratize information. And we still have a big challenge in Latin America, for example, that 50% of people approximately do not have internet access. So one thing that we have to ensure collectively is that the access through Wi-Fi, through internet access is provided in the communities, in schools, that will enable people to read Socrates on the phone, that will enable them to travel the world through their phones. And that is possible if we do that effort of connectivity. But we do not have to forget the first steps on education. Kids still need to read. Kids still need to learn how to read and write, and they need to learn some basic math. And that is also still a struggle in the region and in many other countries in the world. And those basic steps still have to be urgently resolved. And then is when we can get more sophisticated. If kids can't solve math problems, if they don't know how to read the problems. And there's a lot of reading comprehension challenges still. So then we can get sophisticated and talk about the next step, which is computer science. And computer science education is not about creating, geeky and everybody following a math or a STEM career. It's about developing skills. And I believe that anybody that knows basic reading and basic math can learn those logical thinking skills. And that will enable to bring together the humanities and the math through integrating computer science to everything that they do. So I wouldn't polarize the conversation on the humanities or the math or where they should learn computer science. I think anybody can learn on their phones, in schools, in community centers, in jail. I have a video here of a young person who learned how to code in jail. So it's not about the environment only, it's about the access to opportunities.
You want? Okay, go ahead.
One day, Seymour Papert visited us a long time ago, some 5 years ago, and I remember he told me that every child wants to learn. There is no child that does not want to learn. So it all depends on how you're making it available and what you're creating. For example, history. You can teach history or characters, and we can ask the students to go and analyze all the documents and find information when you create that setting where it's very interesting. And they will do it. They will spend hours and hours analyzing, reading, researching, and coming back to create what they want to create. For example, characters from history, animation, things like that. We did the same thing in the typography workshop. Our students spent 3 weeks every day, more than 4 hours, understanding how the Armenian letters are put together and what are the nuances and all the details. It was amazing to see the effort and the time they were putting. So when you create this environment and you make it interesting, they want to learn and they want to do their best, and you get amazing results.
Eu concordo plenamente e acho que poderíamos começar agora. Eu concordo com a senhora e creio que nós poderíamos começar agora nosso debate com a seguinte proposta ou reflexão. A senhora disse, eu concordo. Toda criança quer aprender e ela quer aprender conforme os métodos e os equipamentos que lhe agradam. O difícil é convencer os professores a querer ensinar conforme os novos métodos e os novos equipamentos que hoje a tecnologia nos oferece. Esse é o grande desafio. Como motivar os professores em uma tecnologia para a qual eles não foram preparados? Como transformar a sala de aula, que é uma carroça, em uma sala de aula que seja uma nave espacial? Como transformar o professor, que é um condutor de carroças, em um professor que seja piloto de uma nave espacial para o futuro? Esse é o desafio. E eu creio que não é só no Brasil, creio que é um desafio em todo o mundo. E eu fico muito satisfeito porque eu acho que o trabalho que vocês estão fazendo é exatamente querer espalhar pelo mundo a ideia de que a escola tem que mudar completamente. A escola, talvez até o nome não seja mais escola no futuro, talvez tenhamos um outro nome, tem que ser ajustada à realidade da tecnologia que nós temos hoje para nos auxiliar. Este é o desafio que eu imagino que um encontro como esse deve preencher. Por isso fico muito feliz de estar aqui com vocês. Mas eu consulto os organizadores e a nossa chefe se abrimos para o público ou se não há mais tempo para isso, porque eu confesso que eu nem sei quais são, que horas são, porque aqui aparece só o tempo que passa, não aparece a hora em que estamos. Aliás, muito de acordo com a realidade do mundo hoje. A gente sabe e vê o tempo passando e não sabe que horas são. Por favor. Não estou ouvindo.
Precisamos encerrar.
Eu não gostaria de ser o responsável pelo encerramento. Eu passo para você encerrar essa sessão, mas antes disso eu quero agradecer muito o convite que me foi feito, a oportunidade que foi me dada e a possibilidade de escutar o que nossos apresentadores falaram. Muito obrigado a cada uma e a você.